Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Callie and I'm going to be going through my July TBR. Now, July is a little bit weird because I am going to be out of the country for 11 days. Basically, the entire second half of July, I will be in New Zealand. So, I have a lot of audiobooks and I have a lot of rereads for the month of July for that purpose. So, because I will not be bringing physical books to New Zealand. We're going to be doing way more just hiking and stuff like that. So audiobooks and my Kindle are going to be my best friend for those days. But I'm still going to go through, I have physical copies of these books. So let's get into it. Like I mentioned, a lot of rereads, but the series that I will be finishing this month is the Gilded Wolves series by Roshani Chokshi. I've read books 1 and 2 already. The new one to me is going to be The Bronze Beast, which is the final one. This is very much like Six of Crows in an 19th century. This one takes place in Paris, and this one takes place in Russia. I don't know where this one takes place yet, but they are like this big archaeology kind of crew. There's a magic system based on the Tower of Babel, and it is such a fascinating magic system. There is a really good crew and friendship dynamic between all the characters. It is hilarious. Zophia's chapters are probably my favorite just because of the dry, quick humor that she has. And I'm currently rereading book 2 right now, and I thoroughly enjoy this series. It's got all the hijinks that I love. I wasn't a huge fan of Six Crows. I liked it, but I like this one better. You get more of the like mystery, very escape room kind of thing, plus the ambiance. We get the ambiance of Paris. We get the cold ambiance of Russia, and I adored every second of these books. I'm excited to get to the finale. Next, I have The Viscount Who Loved Me by Julia Quinn. I've been slowly reading the Bridgerton series. I read The Duke and I in June, and I liked it way more than I anticipated. I thought I was just gonna watch the show and be happy, but I really enjoy these books. So I've got Anthony's story next, and this one is definitely my favorite season of the two, but I've heard it's also the most different of the two, because I will say The Duke and I was almost a carbon copy of what happened in the first season of Bridgerton. So I also just finished the Queen Charlotte miniseries. Loved every second of it. So I'm super pumped to jump back into the Bridgerton universe, especially before season 3 drops. I'm really excited. I know that it goes out of order of the books, so I'm going to keep to the order of the books and just kind of go from there. Next, I have Stardust in Their Veins by Laura Sebastian. This is the second book in the Castle in Their Bones trilogy. I think it's going to be a trilogy. So this series follows these triplets, and each one marries off to their own kingdom, and their mother has trained them since birth to slowly take the kingdom from the inside. I'm intrigued to see where this can go, considering the ending of Castles in Their Bones. I really liked it. It was a really interesting idea, showing sibling dynamics, duty versus what you actually want, and then going against someone like a parental figure as well. A lot of really good themes within this story, and I'm just really excited and a little terrified to jump back into this world. Up next, I have The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren. This is a romance book. This was one of my book of the months, I think for May. I think this was May. And this follows a filmmaker and a romance novelist. They come together to write a script to get something off the ground in Hollywood. I've heard really good things about this. Now, Christina Lauren is a hit or a miss for me. I've read 3 books by them. I've liked one of them. So I'm hoping that this will be a little bit redeeming for me. They did talk about this at the convention, so I was just really enamored, and I'm excited to jump into another Christina Laurie book. Next I have Shout by Laurie Halse Anderson. I read a few Laurie Halse Anderson books in my life. I haven't in my adult life. I read a lot as a teenager. I read Winter Girls and I read Speak. Shout is just as hard-hitting as those two books. This one deals with sexual assault, and this is written in verse. Laurie Halse Anderson, from what I remember from my teen years, writes extremely prolific prose surrounding very harsh topics. And this topic is very near and dear to my heart, so I am excited, a little nervous to jump into this book. Next I have Sing Me to Sleep by Gabby Burton. This is my very pretty fairy loot edition that I just got in the mail. And this is a siren book, so naturally I'm very excited to get into it. This follows a young woman who is the last siren, who is essentially in hiding. During the day, she essentially is posing as like a fae soldier in training, and then at night she works for this like assassin mercenary guild, and she does that to prevent herself from wanting to lure men to her death with her siren powers. I am so excited for this. Plus, this is just a gorgeous book. Does there anything? It's just so pretty. And I am a sucker for anything mermaid siren related, especially when we get into the like dark, twisted fairy tales of sirens. Up next I have She Started It by Sian Gilbert, another book of the month, and this is a thriller that I'm trying to branch out of my thrillers. This follows a group of frenemies. They were friends in their childhood, secrets and shit happened in their teen years, and they've just sort of drifted apart, but they are brought together by what they considered their weakest link, who has done really well for themselves in adulthood, and they find themselves on this island and shit starts to go sideways. So it seems like they're going to be like trapped on this island that potentially Poppy set up, or the weak link set up as revenge. Secrets are going to come out. I don't know. I'm super excited to jump into this and see what it's about. Next I have Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I've been meaning to get to this. I'm a little bit behind on my Emily Henry stuff, but this one I've heard is the best. Now, I didn't care for Beach Read, but I really liked People We Met on Vacation, a literary agent, and a book editor. So I'm intrigued. This feels like a love letter to all book readers out there. And I don't know, it sounds like a fun, nerdy romance. And I love a good, nerdy romance. I can relate to them very much. Next, I have another reread, and that is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. This is the next book in my big Maas readathon that I'm doing by publication date. So at this point in the reread, I'm teetering between Throne of Glass and the ACOTAR universe, which is fascinating, but this is my favorite book in the entire ACOTAR series. So very excited to reread this. And I even got, you can kind of see them in here. Let's see if I can get one. I got the like page overlays. So this will be my first time reading this with the page overlays, and I'm super excited to see them in action. Like I said, this is the month for rereads. I also have Shielded by Kaylynn Flanders. This follows a second-born princess who is more warrior than magician. Her brother has all of the magic, and she thinks that her warrior nature could really help her kingdom in trouble, but her father has plans to just use her as a princess and marry her off. She does not like that aspect, and I believe she gets kidnapped. Yep, they're ambushed. And she has to either reveal she has no powers, which would put her kingdom at risk, or kind of go with the flow. This is an older Fairy Loot book, if I remember correctly. I don't remember if this was Fairy Loot or Owl Crate, but it was one of the two. I remember really liking this, and I have the sequel because it's a duology, so I'm gonna get into this one and jump into the sequel next month. Another reread that I have are These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. This is a Romeo and Juliet retelling in 1920 Shanghai, but instead of just rival families, they are rival gangs. I loved this book. It was so much fun. It kept homage to the original Romeo and Juliet story while still being fresh and new. and I loved that. I loved the prose. Gong's writing style is phenomenal. So I have this one, that way I can get to These Violent Ends, and then there is the spin-off duology, which I have the first book, which is I think Foul Lady Fortune, and then I think by the time I finish Foul Lady Fortune, the second book in that one, I don't remember the name of it, we'll throw it up here, comes out in August or September, so I will be able to get a copy of that and to just continue this entire Chloe verse done. I also did get her newest book for Book of the Month, Immortal Longing, so I'll be reading that within the next couple of months as well. So it's going to be a very Chloe Gong heavy couple of months, and I'm real excited about it. Next, I'm actually finishing a series. I've got Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor. This is an angel and demon war romance YA fantasy story. Lots of things going on within this. The angel and demon aspect is really cool, and the middle book I was just kind of met on. I feel like I just kind of glided through it, unfortunately, but I'm still really intrigued as to how this is going to finish, because a lot of book 2 is just set up for what I assume will be our big climactic ending, and this book is a monster. So we will see where this takes me. Next, I have a book that I'm borrowing from Sarah, and this is A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon by Sarah Hawley. Sarah really liked this and shoved it in my hands. So who am I to say no to a fun witch demon romance book with a cartoon cover? Me? No, not at all. Continuing on that kind of romancy train, I have Pestilence by Laura Thalassa. I have been meaning to get to this series for so long. I bought all of these last year at a Polycon and still haven't read them. These are romance stories following personifications of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. So we're starting with Pestilence, and I'm really excited. I've heard fantastic things about this series, and I also just got Laura Thalassa's new book, Bewitched, so really excited to jump back into her writing. I loved her Dark Harbinger series, so excited to get back into her writing style. And the last book that I have is another reread, and that is Bloodleaf by Crystal Smith. This is a Goose Girl retelling that we read for our book club 3 years ago. It was one of like the first couple of books that we did. I remember I was the only one who liked it. I'm not a fan of the cover change. I like the original covers better, but I've heard that it gets really good for the rest of the series, so I'm intrigued to see how. But I just remember really liking the characters and the way that the Bloodleaf magic worked. So I'm excited to give this a reread and see if I like it just as much as I did the first time. That's what I have for my physical TBR for the month of July. Like I said, I'm going to be trying to power through a good chunk of this in the first 2 weeks of the month, so that I will take out whichever ones I can get on Scribd, Libby, any of those, so that I can listen to them on the plane rides and then car rides or whatever I can find on Kindle. I found a couple of the sequels that I've been needing on Kindle already, like The Beautiful Nightmares and Grace and Glory. So I have those already set up for the trip. But yeah, this feels like a lot, and I'm starting to get nervous that I'm not gonna be able to do it, but I have faith in me. So I'm gonna just roll with that and see what happens. But that's gonna be it for today's video. Please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. We post videos every Wednesday and Friday, and I'll see you guys in our next video. Bye!